Okay, listen, I am not making this video because the whole, oh, fancy man plays Custodes, oh. I am not Squidmore. This video is made mostly because of how I did my gold armor. I wanted to show everyone how I did it. So, let me begin with the Custodes Shield Captain. Start by priming the sub-assemblies with Raven Black. So we begin in the weirdest way, on my channel at least, starting with a single bit of the model instead of the base step, all the gold armor. So gather everything here and let's get ready to start. Start with an entire coverage on the armor with rough iron. Make sure that every crevice is covered while doing so, even going back to tidy up the areas. Next, use a bit of broken sponge and dab on evil chrome over all the previously applied rough iron. If there's a bit too much paint in an area, just use the sponge to wipe it off. Now do it again, this time with Emperor Gold, going over all the higher areas that would be more visible to the sun. For each sponge step, go closer and closer towards the sunned areas. I did it again, didn't I? I forgot to record this step. But use greedy gold all over the armor. May as well talk about the sponge now. I used scraps from my storage boxes that I cut out and tore up into useful sizes. It's quite easy getting them if you have those tear out space ones. For the highest areas of the armor, I used bright gold. Once that is done, I stopped with the sponging, but the step isn't over yet. With the final paint being true brass, locking in all the detail with a dry brush. After doing all of that and letting it dry, empty and refill your water pot and get ready for the actual base step. On to the actual basing step now. Quite a few paints. Even though this leader model, most if not all of these paints can be used in other units of the Custodes army. So, on that point, gather up and get ready. I begun the step with some Shadowthorn, using the paint over all of the cloths, capes, top knots, and even the lenses of the model, being careful as to avoid the armor as I do so. After that, use some leather brown. For this model, I aimed for the covers on the gauntlets alongside the small amount of tassels between the legs. Continuing on, I used ironclad grey, carefully using this over the inside parts of the cape and any visible underarmour that could be seen on the models. Follow it up with some gargoyle grey, only using this on the small areas of scrollwork on the pauldron and shield. And the final matte paint of the base step is company grey, carefully going over all of the decorative ropes found on the model. Metallics begin with plate mail metal, for this specific model going over the blade of the sword, the vents of the armour and the wires on the back of the shield. There are a lot of gems on this model, so I went around with mithril to base all of them up. Be sure to be carefully doing this step as there are a lot of gems, and some of them are even on matte areas. But finish this up with some gemstone red. While you have picked out all of the gems with mithril, you can add in some of this paint in case you want other colours. Now we go on to shading. A few paints, but it is worth it in the end. Gather up everything and let's continue. Begin the step with Beowulf Blue Speed Paint, applying the paint over some bits on the pauldron. This step is optional, just giving some extra colour on the armour. Then, use some blue tone over all the areas that are coloured in with blue. Careful as to not touch the gold at all though. continue on with some voodoo shade, simply and carefully being painted onto the leather areas. With this most shorts, I didn't realise how useful Pine Hollow shade is with white areas, so I used it once more, this time on the white ropes. That didn't sound say so. For the last wash, I used some grimdark shadow over all the areas coated in steel. Don't forget about the pipes under the chest though. But the final paint for the shading step is Turnbull Turquoise, going over all the mithril you didn't cover with Gemstone Red. On to layering now. This does seem a bit short, doesn't it? Either way, gather everything up and get ready to do some detailing. First, I began to highlight all of the blue with Frostveil, while also adding it in as a full thing on all of the little iconography shield bits on the model. In the order of all the base colours, I used Paratrooper Tan next over all of the leather areas, carefully as some of the leather is in tight areas. Oh, God, damn it, I did it again. Up next is Deep Grey. Simply use this paint over all of the super dark grey used on the cape and underarmour. Finishing up the parchment now, using Warstone carefully over all of the parchment areas. I could have written in some wording, but I only just thought of it now. Don't you love it when your phone focuses on the wrong thing? Anyway, using matte white, go over all the ropes, dot the lenses, and freehand in some crosses in the iconography for the saltire. And finally, finish the step with a metallic highlight of mithril, going over all of the silver details. After that, wash your water pot and get ready for basing. So yeah, I decided to just put the tactical rocks in this step of the model. It doesn't make it easier. Most of the time I remember about it a bit too late, so I moved it to here. Anyway, gather up everything and get ready for the long finale. Begin the end with some uniform grey, carefully going over all of the rock while not touching the feet or cape of the model. After that, follow it up with some gunmetal, going over all the rebar sticking out of the rubble. Once that is done, wash the water pot out and get ready to do the final wash. The final wash being dark tone, going over both of the two colours. Let it dry and we can quickly finish the tactical rock. For layering, I gave edge highlights of ash grey over all the stone just to add in some nice detail. Then a quick highlight of shining silver over all the rebar. Once that is done, you can start gluing all of the sub-assemblies together now. On to the actual base now, starting with Asphalt from AK Interactive. I used a brush for this paint as I want to minimize the amount of paint in one single area on the model. But after that, wash the water pot for the last time. Once that is dried, I added in Deep Ocean Blue as highlights. How I added it in really was by stippling it over all the asphalt, then I let it dry. As some extra detail to the road, I added in some Wasteland clay as lines to depict some road markings. After that, the base is mostly just done now. With the final step being matte black, going over the rim as always. Once that is done, let that paint dry and the model will be complete. And there you have it, a new shield captain for the Custodes army. Thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed it. But at the same time, if you have any ideas for anything you want to see me paint on my channel, please do have a look into my link tree or my description. A form is there for you to fill out. Been looking at the doom scroll on YouTube lately. One of the live shorts that I encountered was one of those Roblox scam guys going, guys, if you give me the living disco ball, I will call the police, and never does it. Know what? If a single person buys at least one thing from the affiliate link I have in this month, I will commission an art piece of me being bit by the crocodile toy.